Hi guys, so this film I'm going to call General Health Improvements After the Tapering Process. Now I'm going to say a bit more specifically what this film is about first, because it's actually answering a question from a subscriber. And so this is what they said. Are there any aspects of your health that you thought would improve after your taper? And they suggested kidney function, thirst, memory, or other cognitive functions that has not yet improved. Now, first, I want to say that before tapering, I didn't really think about how things might change afterwards. I was literally just staying in the present moment and kind of just focusing on withdrawing and that process, and just literally seeing how things changed along the way when it happened. So once I'd tapered, I just was keeping aware of myself and noticing what changed along the way. Now, I have done specific films on thirst. I haven't done one on kidney function, but I'll talk about that now. I haven't done any recent blood tests since I've come off the lithium, so I don't know what my kidney function is now. But when I have a low immune system, which does happen quite frequently at the moment, I can feel that kind of kidney area in the mid-back, either side of my spine, but normally it's like the right side, but then sometimes it can be the left side. So yeah, in the kidney area it feels sore, but that could be because of some of the strenuous exercise that I do with work. I do a lot of vacuuming, mopping, and I put my back into it, and I really feel it. And how I know that I have a reduced immune system is because I have times when I have food intolerances or allergic reactions to certain foods. So my gut isn't particularly strong, and I've got quite a list of things that I can't eat, and I'm supposed to be trying to reintroduce into my diet. But lately, when I have been trying to reintroduce them, it just drops my immune system. So I can tell, for example, I'm on day 2 now after a really strong reaction. I get intense headaches, I get swollen glands, and it kind of feels all scratchy. I get puffy lips, I get red round here. My eyes go all puffy, and especially in the mornings. And back pain, lower back pain. What else? Oh yeah, constriction of my lungs. So I feel like I'm only really breathing into half of my lung capacity. So that was developing and there while I was on lithium, and still hasn't improved. But I'm working on it with probiotics and various things day by day. Repairing the gut is a long-winded process, and that's another whole range of films that if you're interested in, I can do some separate films on that. Memory and cognitive function. I did feel like after I'd done my taper that my memory was better. I felt kind of generally sharper and clearer, and I could remember things like short-term memory and I suppose long-term memory much more easily. So for example, if my husband would say, do you know where my hat is? I could remember in my mind where I'd last seen it and say it straight away, and I'd just be able to pick up on these things really quickly. Whereas in the past, while I was on my medication, that would be more foggy and blurry, and I wouldn't. It's like I had gained extra space in my brain where I could store things, and that I could more easily go and retrieve those things that I've stored. and it was just, yeah, clearer and sharper. So I definitely feel like my cognitive function has improved. And I remember when I was on medication, I did have this feeling that I was going downhill with my memory, and like this fogginess and that generally kind of sluggish in my brain. I did have an awareness that that was getting worse over the years and over time. What else? So in other films, I've talked about improvements in my skin, and things I can see have cleared up in my eyes. I've done separate films on that. Let me just have a ponder. Hang on a minute. So just to talk about this in a little bit more detail. So my gut function was already not in a very good place before I had the manic episode. So that was like 8 years ago. So it's kind of a long story and it needs its own separate kind of films. There's a lot of people, I think, with mental health problems that have issues in the gut, and they talk about the gut-brain relationship and correlation. And I know there's a psychiatrist I'm going to speak to soon who actually works with mental health patients in groups, and the first thing he works on is gut health. And that is really interesting because there aren't many psychiatrists that would go down that avenue first. They just say, okay, well, I'm going to slap on a label, you're now bipolar or you're schizophrenic, or mania or depression, and I'll put you on some medication. So he's alternative, he's different, and I can't wait to see what he has to say, and I'm hoping that we might be able to work with him in the future. I'm a yoga teacher, and I do teach students that have bipolar, so kind of, yeah, that's quite interesting, and things are developing along that line. So yeah, things got progressively worse over time, and I changed the way I ate a lot to see if I could work things out myself to improve my own gut problems. And they're still, as answering this question, things that still have not yet improved, and that's still something. It's like I feel like it's the last thing that I need to work on to get my body functioning on top form in the way it should do. So it's to boost my immune system. That's what I need to do, and to be able to eat basically in a way where I don't have to have all these foods that I can't eat, to be able to reintroduce everything so my gut can cope with everything. That would be like my dream. That would be great. So yeah, I think there's more films to come about that, and I hope that was informative. And there was another question that this subscriber asked about the date that I actually finished withdrawing. So I think they wanted to work out exactly how long it took me to get from my top milligram to 0, and I'll write that in one of the comments underneath the film where she asked me this question. So yeah, I hope that was interesting, and I'll see you again soon on the next film. Thanks everyone, and thank you for your support and your continued likes and comments, and new people keep subscribing to me, so that's really fantastic. Thank you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.